Hey girl.
Hello, so excited. Look at you. You look fabulous.
I have to look fabulous for you, my queen. How are you?
I love it. My fire sister. Look
Yes.
at this. We already have 36 people on. Wow, this is like the largest group
Oh my gosh, I
I've
love
had.
it.
The fastest group. I guess we're like I feel like the popular girls in high school. You know, I was never popular in school.
Neither was I, girl. I was bullied in high school. I was like, I didn't start living my best life until like college, maybe.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm a
I
late
didn't
bloomer.
start till law school, and people are like, we're supposed to be studying, and I'm like, no, this is my time to shine.
Exactly. I get to redo life.
Everything I do late. I start my business late. I learn about investing late. Everything is late.
Better
But
late than never.
exactly. You got to be on your own timeline, right? How was your Zumba
Absolutely.
class?
It was so good. I was like feeling it. And then I was like, I need to get out of here on time because people always want to linger after Zumba. They want to have conversations. And I'm like,
Yep.
I love y'all, but I got to go. I got things to do. I have a very important person to meet with. So I'm glad to be here.
Yay. I'm so happy to have you here. Hello, everyone. Whether you're here from my page or from Janice's page, I'm going to do just a quick little intro and then you can introduce yourself as well. I'm Delyanne Barrows, Delyanne the Money Coach. You guys may know me from my silly TikToks where I'm trying to teach you guys investing in a fun, interactive way. So Janice and I just wanted to do this live so you guys can get to know us and for us to talk a little bit about a little behind the scenes action of how we invest as business owners. But Janice, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yes. Hi, everyone. My name is Janice Torres Rodriguez, and I'm creator and host of the Yo Quiero Dinero podcast, personal finance podcast for the modern Latina. So on the podcast, every week we're talking to guests that are schooling us on investing and career and entrepreneurship and all types of amazing topics that are going to help you get your money right. And so, and on top of that, I'm a blogger, I'm a Zoom instructor, I'm a freelance writer. I'm like super busy, but I always make
Yes.
time to be with y'all online.
Seriously, I don't know where you find the energy. I thought I was busy, and I'm like, no, she puts me to shame. I thought, oh, I'm going to be an attorney and a money mentor. How am I going to juggle these two things? And she's like, she's got 15 careers. I'm like, how is she doing this? But no, she's amazing. If you guys don't listen to Yo Quiero Dinero podcast, you're like seriously missing out. Amazing guests all the time. And not to mention her page is like, and her, okay, I can't talk about all your businesses. The blogs are great, the food blog, everything is amazing. Honestly, I'm on her newsletter. I can't speak highly enough of
I
everything that you do.
appreciate you.
Yeah, you're amazing. And so, as you guys know, we're here to talk about investing, but also to give you, we don't just have to talk about investing. We can talk a little bit about just being business owners and how we not only invest our money, but how we invest our time, how we invest our energy, how we invest back into our business. We can give you a little, glimpse into those things. But feel free, you guys. I think it's best if you use the question box so that we can stay organized. So you guys, there's a question box here at the bottom. So if you guys have questions as we go, use that feature. And we will answer some questions towards the end. But let's jump in, right, Janice, and talk about, well, I guess for me and you, let's give them a little glimpse into why did we start this whole fire journey? What's going on? What motivated us to do this? And I'll let you start.
Sure. So fire is definitely not something that I knew about 3 years ago, maybe. I definitely was not really in a place where I was managing my money in a way that would allow me to pursue fire until I was at least 30. I grew up with the mentality, like a lot of us do, that debt is normal. I'm going to pay my student loans for 25 years, getting into a 30-year mortgage. That's what everybody does. Buying a new car, even if you can't afford it. Like, that's just the norm, right? And so when I started listening to like personal finance podcasts, because that's really the way that I started learning about how to manage your money in a different way. I discovered some podcasts like Journey to Launch by Jamila Souffrant, The Five
Awesome.
Show, Mr. Money Mustache. I don't think he has a podcast, but I found his page and I was just like, what do you mean you can retire in 10 years? Like, what is this shit? This is nonsense. There's no way.
Right.
And it definitely wasn't like a light bulb moment for me. Like I was kind of like, oh yeah, these are just like the majority of the people talking about it are like white dudes. This has nothing to do with me. You know, it's a fantasy. And then once I started like really diving in and finding more people like you that are actually pursuing it, I'm like, oh my God, this is also for me. This is not just for like rich white dudes. And so I started a kind of a crazy plan that involved like paying thousands of dollars extra towards my student loans, which I had just been paying the minimum at that point. I sold my house. I moved from New Jersey to Florida. Like I was throwing money at the investment account because they said that's what I got to do. And I was like just slimming and trimming every part of
Yes.
my budget in a way that would align with this stuff. And I'm on track to retire by 2030. And I'm just like, never in a million years could someone have told me that this is reality. And it is.
I it's so funny because I all I want to say is like ditto, because we almost have the identical same journey, like with very, very few differences. It's crazy how much our paths are aligned. It just goes to show, for me, I'm a big believer in, like attracts like, and that we're very similar. So it doesn't surprise me that we're now friends, that we're now, on this similar journey together. I think, you came into my life to like further affirm this, path, and the fact that now I have like friends with me that are on this path, because it can be very lonely, right? Pursuing
Yeah.
fire. When you tell people outside of our community that we're doing this, they look at you like you're crazy. They're like, what are you talking about? You're going to retire early. What are you going to do with all your time? They're like, you're going to be so bored. This is so bizarre. Like, it literally, people cannot process the idea of retiring early. And what I try to tell people is like, don't focus so much on the retire. Think about it as relaxing early, right? That's what I tell people. I'm like, even if you don't want to quit your job right away, what if you just had like some breathing room? What if you just knew that you could like slow down if you want to take a sabbatical, if God forbid you do lose your job? What if all that stress, all that pressure, just like you took the pressure cooker top off and it just released? What would
Yeah.
that feel like? That's what financial independence means to me. It's like taking that pressure off and then getting to choose to do whatever the hell you want. Imagine going to work the next day because you chose to, not because you have to. What a freaking difference does that make, right? Like, as Americans, we're so stressed out all the time. Like,
All the time.
let's take some of the freaking pressure off, and we can do that with investing, right? Which is incredible to me. So again, like you, my journey is very similar. I discovered fire only a year ago. In fact, tomorrow is my fire anniversary.
Yay! Oh my God, that's so exciting.
It's my 1 year fire anniversary. I discovered fire a year ago, and that's when I opened my Vanguard account and I dumped $50,000 into my brokerage account, and then I threw another 30,000 into my student loans. And I said, I'm going to be debt free in 2020. And originally, if you guys remember, my debt free date was December 25th. It was supposed to be Christmas this year. And because of my business and how well it's been going, I got to pay it off almost 5 months early, which is insane.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I'm on the same path as Janice. Like, I moved from New York to San Diego. I lowered my expenses. Even though I make over $200,000 a year, I don't live up to that level, right? I live way below my means, because every dollar to me means freedom.
Right.
One step closer to freedom. So yeah, so that's, I don't know if we're getting any questions. Oh no, I think
We're getting a lot of love. There's a question
oh.
from Miss Miller on fire. How did you discover the fire movement?
So for me, it definitely came through the debt-free community. I feel like
Mm-hmm.
that's like the entryway, right? You find the debt-free community, and then you discover that there's like this other layer beyond it. And that's how it was. And it was on Instagram for
Yeah.
sure. Like, I think I heard, seriously, it was only a year ago that I heard the term index funds. Like, I can't
Right.
believe it. It's only been a year, and now I teach people about this stuff. It like blows my mind, right? But that's how much I nerded out and geeked out over this stuff. I was like,
Well, I think the thing about fire is like before you can even start implementing anything that involves pursuing that path, like it's a mindset shift that has to happen. Because if I had just followed the prescribed advice, like you know, pay your student loans at the minimum, wait 25 years till you're debt free. Like,
Yep.
you're just setting yourself up to
Right.
live a very ordinary life. And for me, like, that's never been my cup of tea. I've never been the type that I'm like, I'm okay doing the bare minimum. And so I think that's also why the FIRE movement appealed to me so much, because I love a challenge. And I
Yep.
love being told like I can't do something, because then I'm going to do it. And I'm going to do
Hell
it
yeah.
twice. And I'm going to take pictures so you can watch. Okay.
I love it. I love it. And I'm like, not only am I going to do it, come on, I can take you with me. Like, this isn't a big secret, you know, this is not a state secret. And so the minute that I found out that this isn't just for like high income people, that anybody can do it. I know families who have done it with kids, right? Who have government jobs, who don't make that much money. It's all about planning. This is what I tell people. Listen, FIRE is not for everyone. If you're not a planner, if you just want to kind of live life spontaneously and never plan for anything and just let life throw you around, then FIRE is not for you, right? FIRE, you have to sit down, you have to put together a plan. It doesn't mean that you have to live your life inside a spreadsheet, but you have to put together a plan. You do have to plan ahead. And so, yeah, that really connected with me, the whole message of it, the fact that I could do it without owning real estate, right? You know, you and I share this idea that real estate is not the end all be all for building wealth.
Absolutely
Like,
not. I
if you
was
guys
more poor owning a house than I ever was as a renter, y'all. Like, it is not a game.
Janice has a great article. Where is it published?
That's on Next Advisor.
Next Advisor, talking about the nightmare that she went through with her property and how that was like such a mistake. And it doesn't mean that like you would never own again, right? But
I would totally go into it with a totally different mentality. Like, before, I just assumed that whenever you buy a house, it's automatically going to go up in value. It's super easy to be a landlord. All of that is BS.
Right.
I actually had to pay to sell my house because I couldn't sell it for what I bought it for. And so now, like, I'm a renter, I'm saving more money than ever. And if I buy a house again, it's with the understanding that this is a place for me to live. This is not a guaranteed investment. This is a liability, and it will continue to be even after I pay it off, because I'm still going to have to pay property taxes on it. I'm still going to have to fix things that break. So when you go into something understanding that it's not necessarily what you've been sold its value is, like, you can be a lot more clear on your intentions.
Yep. I 100% agree. I want to answer this question. What percentage of loan payment versus investing did you guys do? Do you want to go first?
So as far as like paying off my student loans, is that the question?
Yeah, let's talk about that.
So my normal payment for my student loan was like about $475 a month. And I had actually refinanced my student loans like 4 times in 4 years to keep getting the interest rate down, because there is no cost associated with that.
Yeah.
And so as I kept refinancing and getting the payment to be kind of the same, but the interest rate lower, instead of doing $475 a month, I was doing like $2,000, $2,500, $3,000. And a big reason why I was actually able to do that was because of the side hustle that I created.
Yep. Same here. Like, I did not just empty out my bank account and throw it all on my student loans, which was an option that I had. I have been saving for years and years money to put down on a house, because again, I was convinced that buying a home was the way that you built wealth. And it always fell through. I lived in New York City, super competitive real estate market. I would always get outbid by like a cash offer or some bullshit. And so I had all this money hoarded in a savings account, making no money, right? And so when I discovered FIRE, I was like, holy shit, I have all this money. Should I pay off all of my student loans? Right. And I could have, right? I could have thrown the whole amount into it and been debt free right then and there. But then I realized, no, this is not the right way to do it. Like, I need to attack multiple goals at the same time. So I did the 50,000 to the investment account. I threw another 30 at my student loans, and then I kept the rest as an emergency fund. And that was the best decision that I made, because 5 months later, guess what? COVID hit. I still felt chill, because I was like, I didn't just like put all my eggs in one basket. I diversified my goals, right? Always be diversifying, guys. So I diversified my goals. And so I continue to pay my student loans super aggressively while still investing in my 401k and throwing a little bit into my brokerage, I didn't really start revving up in my other accounts beyond my 401k until I really paid off my loans, because I was so motivated to pay it off as soon as possible. But I was still investing. Like, I increased my contributions to my 401k to the limit, especially when the market was going down. I'm like, hell yeah, this shit's on sale. Like, I need to increase these contributions ASAP. And I can't believe that I had the mental state to do that, because I was still a relatively new investor, right? But I had educated myself enough that I wasn't scared. And I think that's what I tell people. Education is what's going to help you combat fear.
Absolutely. Yeah, you have to know what you're doing. I mean, it's one thing to like just read things online and think that you're going to apply them, but you have to know your own personal situation, your own personality, and figure out like the strategy that works for you.
Absolutely. And like, you know, one thing I realized, and I'm sure you did too, was becoming debt free isn't going to make you wealthy. It's not going to make you financially independent. The day that you become debt free, guess what? You still got to go to work the next day.
No, that's right.
There's still shit to pay. So I'm like, why am I rushing to pay freaking Navient? Nobody's rushing to pay me. I got to rush to pay me, right? So yeah. I was throwing money in Navient. I was throwing money in my investment account. I had to pay myself, and I'm so glad I did, because I ended up putting an extra $40,000 into my brokerage this year during a recession, during the time when the stock market was down. Those stocks that I bought in that time period are going to balloon over the long run, right? So yeah. I'm so happy that I took advantage of that. Like, if I had listened to, like you said, traditional advice, I would have missed out on this entire year.
Right. They tell you not to invest at all when you're in debt. And it's just like, wait, what? Like, which one of us is not in debt? Who doesn't have student loans?
Right.
Tell me who. Like, it's not realistic.
No, not at all. Like, that's the thing. The advice is divorced from reality. And so we're here to show you that there are more ways than one, and that you can choose your path whichever way you choose. I'm never going to shame anybody for being like, no, I want to go ham on all my debt and I don't want to do anything else. I'm never going to shame anybody for that. But we're giving you guys an alternative. Like, hey, we did it this way. It's working out this way too. So don't think that it's all one way.
Yeah.
But let's dig into our side hustles, right? I know you've got like 20.
I love talking about this. I gotta lose count sometimes. I'm like, I don't have fingers for this.
You've got like so many, but yeah. And you said like that's the reason why you were able to pay off all your student loans so much faster. And what have you been able to do as an investor that you wouldn't have been able to do if you didn't have those side hustles?
Well, absolutely, like maxing out my 401k, maxing out my IRA, maxing out my HSA, opening up a solo 401k, like none of this stuff would be possible, because honestly, before I found FIRE, I was doing like 3 to 6% a year, because that's just what the match was depending on where I was working. And I'm like, yeah, that's enough. And that's crap. Like, that is never enough. Even if you're doing like 10%, that's not enough. 15% is usually like the traditional advice that like financial professionals will tell you if you want to retire at 65. But without the side hustle income, it would not be possible for me to pursue FIRE. And so I think that there's a big misconception that FIRE just means like you live on ramen noodles and that's it. And I think a big part of FIRE is increasing your income, because you can only cut so much out of your budget, but your income potential is unlimited, especially if you own a business.
Absolutely. And I have to tell you guys, I used to say this all the time to people. I'm like, oh, I'm going to be a W-2 employee till the day I die. I never thought that I would ever be a business owner. I just thought it was like a gene that was missing from my DNA. I was like, no, like that's not for me. You know, I always thought I was like a worker bee. I used to call myself, oh, I'm a worker bee. I'm not a queen bee. And God, was I wrong. Wow.
Because entrepreneurship has this connotation that like you need to go to get an MBA, or you need to like be from a family that owns a business and stuff like that. And it's like, I don't think most of us realize, like, when somebody's paying you to do something, you own a business, y'all. Even if it's not LLC, even if it's just some solopreneur thing, someone pays you money in exchange for a service. Hello, it's
You're
a
in business. Yep. That little girl with the lemonade stand on the corner, she's making more money than most of the people on Instagram pretending like they're entrepreneurs. Okay. I call them wantrepreneurs. Like, excuse me, if you're not making money off of this is not a business. Okay.
Absolutely.
And so, yeah, I just realized that I found something that I'm passionate about. People need this kind of information. I love to educate. I love to share knowledge. It all melded together, and it came together beautifully. And so there the business was born, right? The mentored business was born. And same as Janice, like the fact that I was able to, again, I'm also maxing out my 401k. I poured $40,000 into my brokerage. I paid off my student loans. I'm cash flowing my certification to become a certified financial planner.
So excited for you.
Yeah. I mean, it is just insane. And so yesterday, I called my sister, who's my business coach, and I hit a milestone in my business in 7 months, because I launched my first product in March. In 7 months, I've made $50,000.
Oh my God.
Woohoo!
High five, girlfriend.
My first year in business, which is crazy. I was like, my sister's like, most people aren't even profitable their first year in business. Most
I know
people,
I wasn't.
their business folds, right? So the fact that I'm profitable and I'm going to owe a lot of taxes.
Listen, this whole thing that I've heard people say, like, I don't want to own a business because of the taxes. Yo, Donald Trump is not paying taxes because he has a business, okay? Like, the tax perks for businesses are cray.
Yeah.
So stop making excuses like, I want to pay taxes, because guess what? That means I'm making money.
Yeah. And I don't think people realize, like, when you make money in your business, that's all like pre-tax, right? Nothing's come out of it yet. And then you can actually spend that money before any taxes come out of it and invest in your business, like invest in yourself, invest in your business. And then you get to lower your taxable income in your business. You literally get to use all this pre-tax money before the government even gets to like get their little grubby hands on it. You get to go and spend it and then lower your taxable income. I mean, it is a magical thing. And I tell people, W-2 employees are at the bottom of the totem pole. You need to move yourself over to the investor side, the business owner side, and I say home ownership / real estate investment side, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like that's where you need to go to get the perks in this country, because they do not give an F about employees, like at all.
No.
So one thing people are asking is, what is this crazy account that we're talking about that you and I both have that are for solo entrepreneurs and independent contractors? What is the solo 401k, Janice?
So the solo 401k is very much like the 401k that your job offers you if you have access to one, except it's for entrepreneurs that are self-employed and may employ their spouse, but nobody else. And the amazing thing about solo 401ks is that the contribution limits on them are sky high compared to what you can contribute at your workplace 401k, which is $19,500 right now in 2020. The max for a solo 401k contribution is 25% of your income, your net income, up to $57,000 a year. Yeah. So that number is why everybody who has a side hustle, whether it's making $10,000 a year or $100,000 a year, you need some sort of retirement account to funnel additional money into, especially if you're doing FIRE.
Absolutely, right? You have to get creative with FIRE. You can't just do the traditional things. And the solo 401k is that little hack that is not so little, that is going to get you to be able to pour even more money into your 401k. And one of the things I definitely want to highlight is the fact that, Janice and I both work full-time jobs while we have our businesses. So we also have 401ks at work. And yes, you can have the 401k at work and the solo 401k. There is some overlap, right? So let's say you're putting away the $19,500 at work. You're not going to get to put the same $19,500 over here in the solo 401k. But remember what she said, the maximum is $57,000. So all you do is deduct it from that, and boom, you still have like 36, 37 grand that you can pack away into that account, depending on how much your business makes, right?
Right.
So I'm not going to get into like the super intricacies of it because it gets a little crazy, but I will talk about it more where? In our
At the Side Hustle Summit number 2, guys. Yes. Delyanne is going to be doing a session all about retirement options for the boss babe. So you need to attend to get all the details. And we're selling tickets right now. So hop over to my link in my bio and get a ticket, because we're going to be breaking down all of this stuff.
Yeah, so you can come learn how to start your business, learn how to invest like a boss. I mean, these women that are on this panel are just, they blow me away every day. Everybody's got like 5 businesses, I feel like. It's crazy. I don't know how they all do it. They're all fabulous. They're, you know, not only are they great human beings, but they're savvy, they're super smart, and they're hustlers, you know? And I'm like, yes, these are the kind of people you want to surround yourselves with. Remember what people say, you are the 5 people that you surround yourselves with. Come join our community, come surround yourselves with people who inspire you, right? Like,
Yes.
leave those tired family members at home who are telling you to not pursue your dreams and not do crazy things. And yeah, come to the summit, because it's going to be awesome. And I'll talk a lot more about all of the intricacies of investing. But
Yeah.
besides the solo 401k, you guys are very aware of the Roth IRA, right? Like the IRA, the Roth IRA, that's obviously the most common and easiest account that you can open as an entrepreneur. Super easy to open it. But what's the problem there? You can only put $6,000 a year in it. And
Right.
maybe that's all you can do in the beginning, and that's okay. But to really fire up, no pun intended, your independence journey, you're going to have to invest a lot more than that. Like $6,000 a year is not going to cut it, right? So where are you going to stash all that extra cash? That's where the solo 401k comes in, and the brokerage account. And what happens is you're building like a layer of investment accounts that are going to save you the most in taxes, save you the most in fees, keep the most amount of money in your pocket, and help you grow that wealth faster.
Yeah. And the solo 401k provides tax benefits the same way that the one at your workplace does too. So a lot of people that work only W-2 jobs, right? They can do the 401k at work, or the 403b, or the equivalent. They can do an IRA. And then they have to start stuffing money into the brokerage if they don't have a side hustle. And what we know about brokerage accounts is there's no tax benefit, right? So if you take the money out, you got to pay taxes on it, whether you've had it for less than a year or more than a year. That changes the tax rate. But the solo 401k is a great way to just continue to hustle the tax system in this country.
Yeah, for sure. Somebody's asking, what is our side hustle? So I'm a money mentor. So I teach new investors how to start investing in the stock market so that they can achieve financial independence. I do this through one-on-one coaching and through my new Slay the Stock Market course that's launching soon. And Janice, tell them the 20 side hustles you have.
So I am a food blogger. So within that space, I do sponsored content and what the hell's the other thing? Affiliate marketing, and I serve ads on my blog. So that's 3 income streams from that. Then I have a podcast, so I get ad income from that. I do speaking engagements. I do money coaching. I do business coaching. I teach Zumba. I do freelance writing, and any other shit that somebody wants to pay me for something. Why not?
Girl, send me your vitamin routine, whatever it is you're eating, whatever you're drinking. I need it.
I mean, I will say, like, I don't have kids, and I don't think I could do this if I was a mom. So shout out to the mompreneurs out there, because y'all are the real MVPs. But, the thing is, like, I love what I do, so it doesn't feel like work. Like, I'm cool doing my 9 to 5 and working from 5 to midnight if that's what it takes to build my legacy, because that's what this is about, right? Like, it's not just about making money. It's about building a legacy. Like, I have a business that now I can leave to my next generation. Like, I own trademarks. Like, that's some baller ass shit. That's what keeps me motivated.
I love it. Oh my God, I can't wait to get to that level where I'm like, no, you can't use this name anymore. It's mine. I absolutely love it. And it's so true what you said. I work harder for myself than I ever have for any employer. You are going to be your toughest boss, but it feels so satisfying if you chose the right thing. Don't ever choose something just for the money. That's what I did for my 9 to 5, right? That's why I became a lawyer. I mean, yes, I was still an employment attorney. I was still representing, it was still in line with my values. But let's be real. I chose to be an attorney because I was the first person in my family to go to college, to ever, be a professional. And I wanted to make sure that I could pay those student loans at the end of the day. So yeah, I picked it for that. And then with the money mentoring, it was a passion project. And I worked 12 hours a day on it, and I don't complain about it ever because I love it so much. So that's the thing. Find something that you can talk about for 15 to 20 minutes uninterrupted. and maybe you found your passion and you found your next idea for a side hustle, you
I
know?
also believe that you should never try and monetize something that you wouldn't do for free,
Hmm.
because the money's not going to come in like that. You
Yeah.
have to be passionate about what you're doing and who you're serving, because that's what's going to fuel you when business is low, when you're doubting yourself. Like that's really important.
Ooh, Janice, they asked, how does your husband feel about you working so much?
I love that question. So my husband is actually a side hustler too. So he has a full-time job and he's a DJ. He works on the radio. He does custom mixes. He produces music. So we respect each other's hustle. And I think that's why we work, because even though we are working 24/7, like we also commit to having a weekly date night and making sure that we're staying connected as a couple, right? Because it's like really easy to just go off into our worlds and do all this stuff and forget about what's important. So we make a conscious decision to reconnect
Yeah.
every week and make make time for what matters.
Who's this, Mr. Lamont? I'm with the DJ.
Yes, I have a hat that says that. I should have worn it.
Oh, it's like a saying.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm like so lost. I'm like, what's
Yeah.
this? Oh, that's so funny. All right, let me see what other questions are in here. Um, what advice would you give someone who is starting off and taking control of their finances, a first step?
You got to get real about your situation, like, and be okay with bucking the norm, right? Because like I said, I was perfectly fine mentally, like just being in debt forever.
Mm-hmm.
And until I made the switch and I was like, if I continue down this path, I will live an ordinary ass life, and I'm not okay with that. And that
Yeah.
is what was the light bulb moment for me.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, there's just got to be a point where you have to say enough is enough. Like this, what I've been doing for this many years isn't working. You got to shake things up, right? And starting a business, yeah, is really scary. Yeah, it could totally fail. It could, and that's okay. Fail fast, fail really fast so that you can move on to the next thing. Like,
Right.
don't be so scared of failure. Why are we so terrified of failure? Oh my God. I started this business with I kept calling it a little side hustle. It took me a really long time to embrace the title business owner, business entrepreneur. I used to just be like, oh yeah, this side hustle. My sister's like, you need to stop saying that. Like, yes, you can call it a side hustle, like for fun, but she's like, you are a business owner and you need to own that. And like the mind shift needs to be there if you want the money to be there too, right? You got to take
Word.
it serious. So it can start out as a little hobby, but at some point you're gonna have to turn the dial up if you actually want to make money,
Right.
right? That shit's not gonna happen by accident. That's for
Yes.
sure. It's not just about throwing an Instagram up and then thinking people are just gonna show up and buy your stuff. It's so
No.
much more than that. And that's the thing. We're gonna be talking about that at the Side Hustle Summit, how to actually build these systems so that you can monetize. If you do have a social media following, how do you monetize that?
Yep.
It's so important to learn that. Let me see here. Um, would I still buy a house if you still had 20,000? I think you're asking, would I buy a
In
house if
student
you still had
loans.
20,000 in student loans?
I mean, I bought a house and I had like $45,000 in student loans, and it was not a vibe. And I think, okay, so this is what I did wrong. I went for the lowest down payment possible. So I did 3.5% with an FHA loan. That was literally all the money I had in my savings account. So I was basically broke when I moved in. And then like 2 weeks later, the basement floods and I have to repair like a $4,000 sewer line. So what did I do, y'all? I took a loan from my 401k. Okay? Because I wasn't prepared.
Oh,
And that's the thing about owning a house. Like, it's not just about the monthly mortgage payment.
yeah.
It's about the fact that in 2 years, my property taxes went up by $2,000. It's about the fact that I had to install a French drain after I was told that my basement didn't flood to the tune of $15,000. Like, I didn't have money for this. So I had to take out loans. I had to take money out of my
Yeah.
401k. I had to do all these things that if I had been better educated and realized, like, just because you can buy a house doesn't mean you should buy a house.
Right.
That's my lesson for y'all.
What a lot of people do is they think, oh, a house is an investment, so they overbuy. They buy too much house, right? They're like, oh, well, a bigger house means a bigger investment, right? And so now you have all this cash tied up in this house that's not appreciating, if at all. It's not appreciating as fast as your money would have been if you had invested it in the stock market, right? So even if you are going to buy a home, you should buy like the right amount of home for you so that it still leaves some money freed up so that you can invest it too. Like your money should not all, again, we're talking about diversification, right? We don't want all of our money tied up in one thing. So for me, my choice to rent is one, peace of mind. It's just so much easier to rent. I went through the process 3 times to try to buy. I'm like, I'm not going through that again. At this point, I will buy when I move to Portugal. I'm like, I will buy
Exactly.
my freaking mansion when I get there. Okay. And then I live in Southern California. Like, this is crazy real estate place. And so I rent way below my means. So I could rent a much bigger, fancier place, but I rent below my means again because I have other goals that are take priority over just having a big, fancy place.
That's so true.
So you can also rent above your means, right? So it's not necessarily, oh, you're renting, you're winning over somebody who's buying. No, because if you rent a crazy expensive apartment and you're maxing that out, again, you're not leaving money freed up to invest. So it's all about a numbers game. And that's why I tell people it's personal. So it's not like, oh, how much should I spend on this? How much should I invest? And I'm like, that's personal to you and your goals. When do you want to retire? How fast do you want to get there? Blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying? So when you guys ask me these questions, I'm like, I have 20 follow-up questions to your question.
Right. It's
right?
so true.
So that's why I can't answer these questions just straight off. Like, oh, you should do this. Like there's a formula, there's a secret formula that applies to everyone everywhere of how much you should be investing or what you should be doing or how much rent you should be paying. There is no set formula, right?
Yep. And the blanket statement for FIRE is like, you need to minimize your expenses. Whatever that means in your life, like that's what you need to do. And that's going to look different for everybody.
100%. Let me see here. Big move in 2.5 years considering buying. Right. So I think we talked about that a bit. Oh yes, retiring abroad. Yes. If you guys haven't thought about that, consider it. And you should come again to the Side Hustle Summit because Vanessa from Wonder Onwards is going to be there. She's going to be, she's the queen of teaching people how to move abroad and how to do it a smart way. So you're not just kind of like doing it from, the seat. You took her class, right, Ginny?
I did. Her master class for moving abroad is so comprehensive. She literally covers everything from A to Z. And she's really big on like also being work independent, like in location independent, which I think is such an appealing concept to a lot of people, but they don't actually know how to implement that. So she actually talked about during the first Side Hustle Summit, like working from anywhere. If you guys haven't seen that workshop, it's completely free. It's on YouTube. Definitely check it out. You can go to my YouTube channel, Yo Quiero Dinero podcast, and watch her session because it's like mad inspiring.
I agree. I mean, she's living her best life abroad. And I'm like, girl, wait for me. I'm coming.
Yes.
Wait for me. I'm working on it. Okay. I'm trying to get there as fast as I can.
Yes.
But yeah, it's amazing. So hang on, there was something else. Oh, so somebody was asking questions about like LLC and like, all these things. That's the first thing that people think about when they're like starting a business, right? They're like, oh, how should I incorporate my business? That's not the first question you need to worry about. Seriously, you do not need to become an LLC right away. I'm still a sole proprietor. I'm still going through the process of becoming an LLC. My eventual goal is to become an S Corp, which is a tax election. It's not, these are 2 different things. There's so many other steps that you can take before you even start worrying about this stuff. So focus on, getting your offer to your customer. That is your first priority, getting your offer to your customer. What is it that you're going to offer people and how are you going to present it to them and sell it to them? That's the priority, right? Everything else you can take your time. Don't worry about your brand colors. Don't worry about your fonts. Or, people are like, oh, I made this mistake. One of the first things I did was go on Fiverr and pay some random person to make a logo for me. Why? I have no idea, and I never used it.
Because we think that we have to be locked into these things, and we really don't. Like, I didn't have an LLC for 7 years. Like, and I was still deducting business expenses. I was still doing all of that stuff. So, you know, you have to justify the cost with the means. And if you're not really like making a ton of money, don't worry about that right now. Like, that should be priority number one. Make the business profitable.
Yeah, 100%. You know, make sure that you actually like it, that you're going to stick with it, that this isn't just, you know, a passing interest that you're going to abandon in 6 months. But yeah, is Summit 2 a repeat of Summit 1? No.
Absolutely not. It's totally different content. And we even have a new person who wasn't on the original panel. So she's going to be talking about questions that I get all the time about Shopify and how to start an online store, which like everybody swears they want an online store, but they have no idea what to do. And I tried an online store and it fucking failed. So I'm going to be paying attention to this because I want to understand what I did wrong.
Yeah, she is a maven, right? That's Carrie.
Yes, Carrie for mayor. I love her IG handle. It's so funny.
I love it. I love it. Who else do we have? Then we have Joy.
Yes, we have Joy Valerie. Joy Valerie is like the smartest woman I've ever met in my life. She is like Elon Musk and Steve Jobs and like Mark Zuckerberg, but the Latina, non-shady ass version. She knows everything about everything when it comes to tech.
I really should stop asking her how to, like, I'm always DMing her like my tech questions. I'm like, girl, how do I do this? How do I take the bars from the side of my videos? And I'm like, I really should find somebody else to ask these questions.
She's a
like,
whiz.
This is way below her pay grade.
Yes.
No, but she's so humble and she's so sweet. Yeah, and my God, the brain on that girl, it's amazing.
For real.
Like, it's so powerful to see Latinas in tech. I love it.
Yep.
What are we getting here? What's her name? Joy Valerie.
What do you do when you have invested in the stock market and there's a market crash? Do you pull out your money? Oh my God. Y'all trying to stress me out tonight. Go ahead.
You double down, guys.
You buy that shit on sale.
You take a second mortgage on your house and you just max out your credit cards and you double down on the stock market.
No, stop it. This is not financial advice, y'all.
No,
I'm
kidding.
Now. This is for information purposes only.
We're just kidding. We should have said that at the top of the hour. This is for educational purposes only. We are not certified financial planners. Everything here is, you know, education. Do not take it as individual investing advice. So yeah, I mean, I can tell you what I did personally myself. Because I felt educated and I understood that the stock market has its roller coaster years, that there are more years where the stock market grows versus falls, that I felt secure enough that I was not going to pull out my money. And I did the thing that everybody fears. I put a lump sum of money. I put 50 grand into the stock market 5 months before it crashed. Okay. I did the thing that you guys are afraid of doing. You're like, oh my God, what if I put money in and it crashes? That's exactly what happened to me. I lost principal. Principal went down. I lost the $5,000 that I had made, and then I lost some more. And I still did not panic because I was like, no, I know that the stock market's going to come back. I know it will because the stock market will continue to grow. The economy is flourishing. It will be fine. It will come back. And you know what? It did, and it came back way faster than any of us expected. I thought that it was going to be down for like a year and a half. I thought it was going to be down 12 to 18 months, right?
I was ready for another repeat of 2008.
Exactly. And then the fact that it bounced back so fast, guess what? If you had pulled your money out, were you going to know exactly when to put it back in? You weren't, because nobody knew that the stock market was going to recover as fast as it did. So you would have missed the ride back up. And that means what? That you would have exited at the wrong time, and then you would have entered when it was higher, and you would have paid more to get back in. So you never want to pull your money out. If you are in a really strong financial position and you feel good, you should actually continue to invest more, right?
Yeah.
Because you're buying shit on sale.
Exactly.
But the minimum you should be doing is not selling your shit.
No, y'all are like hyped up about Prime Day. You should be hyped up about a market crash, okay? Because the shit you're buying on Amazon is not doing anything but getting you into debt.
Today I was watching the Apple presentation, but I was watching the Apple stock.
Exactly.
Like,
That's all I care about.
I was like, what's going on with the stock market today? Let's see what's happening. And like, I would have never connected those two events in the past because I didn't know. But Apple is such a mover and shaker, right? That when it does something, it impacts the rest of the stock market. That I was like kind of watching it today just to see it as an experiment. And it was interesting. It was interesting to see it, right? But instead of being like, oh, I'm gonna go out and buy an a new iPhone, I'm like, should I buy some Apple stock?
I know that's right.
Right? That's the thinking that you want to have. When you see a company doing really, really well, you're like, should I invest in that company? And then start doing some research, right?
Yeah, that's what I do. Honestly, I don't get into like technical analysis for stocks. I do some research. First, I look at my house. I'm like, where am I spending money? I buy a lot of shit on Amazon, so I should probably own some stock from Amazon because if I'm giving them money, I want them to give me money too. I'm an Apple fanatic, so I'm definitely going to be buying Apple stock because again, I'm giving them money. I want my share too.
Yep. Somebody said, are we stock market traders? So there's a big difference between a trader and an investor, right? And I consider myself an investor, and I'm sure Janice does too. I don't day trade. I don't swing trade. I don't do options or margins or any of that crazy stuff. I don't buy Forex or Bitcoin or anything crazy like that. And despite all the Forex traders in my comment sections, please ignore those people, those bots.
We got to find a way to block these people. They drive me absolutely nuts.
I've tried every trick and I can't get rid of them. And yeah, I'm a really boring investor. And guess what? This is the only time in life where you can be boring and lazy and it's going to pay off when you're a long-term investor.
Let me tell you guys a quick story because I thought I was going to be like a day trader. And I'm like, I'm going on Google looking for shit to buy. I bought some like penny stock for like $2.25, maybe like a year ago. And everybody was predicting, oh my God, this is going to be worth like $50. Give it 6 months. It's worth like 80 cents right now.
Oh.
And I still have this damn stock. And I'm just like, yo, this is what happens when you don't know what the fuck you're doing. Don't be like me, guys.
Yeah. And that's what everybody does because unfortunately those voices are so much louder than us where we're like, hey, be boring investors and buy index funds and ETFs.
Absolutely.
That's not very sexy, right?
It's not.
Everybody wants to be like, what's the hot stock?
Buying stock that's lost 70% of its value is not sexy either.
No, that's the thing. When people are like, oh, investing can be fun. And I was like, sure, I guess, but not really. Like, it should be really boring, honestly. Like, what's fun about buying something? And then I don't understand the process when people are like, oh, investing is really fun. What? Like, you literally press a button on your computer and you're like, buy. And then what? Then you just stare at it and you like watch it change? I don't understand how people think it's fun.
I think Robinhood makes it seem like it's a game and people are just like, that's what it is.
That's the problem, right? And that's why you guys know I'm not a fan of Robinhood because it's gamified investing. And again, Robinhood doesn't offer what? Retirement accounts. So you're going straight to the brokerage account, right? You're skipping all the other steps to save taxes, to save yourself, all those benefits. And you're going straight into the brokerage account where you're going to pay the most in taxes. So
and you don't know shit.
Yeah.
Because let's be honest, too many people are opening these accounts not knowing a stock from a bond. So what are you doing?
No. Bond what? Bond who? James Bond?
James Bond, 007? What are we talking about? I like him. I'll buy some.
Where? Yeah, no. People don't know. People don't know what that is. People have never heard the term index fund, ETF. When I say buy the entire stock market, they're like, what are you talking about? I'm like, I'm talking about index funds. So the first place you need to start is learning these words, educating yourself. I always tell people the first step to investing is education, whether you do it on your own, whether you work with somebody like me, whether you work with somebody else like me, like a mentor. I don't care who it is. Go take a course, go read a book. Do not just jump straight into investing, okay? And I know a lot of us do this through our 401ks at work because you're at work. You're like, oh yeah, I'll sign this form. Yeah, it sounds normal. I'll do it. It sounds fine. But if you're going to go beyond your 401k and start doing this on your own, that's where huge mistakes are made.
Yeah.
Right?
Because it's all up to you. Your job is pretty much selecting what you're able to invest in through your 401k. So it's not like they're going to allow you to buy Apple stock and random things that you have no idea what you're buying. But when it's self-directed in a brokerage account or an IRA, you have to be an educated investor, or you're gonna do the dumb shit that I did and buy penny stocks that are worth nothing right now.
Yeah, I mean, girl, yeah. At least thank God I skipped that. The only mistake, the investing mistake that I made was there were very nuanced mistakes that you guys would be like, "What? How is that a mistake?" It would take forever to explain it, but I'll tell you real quick. I bought a target date index fund in a brokerage account, which isn't the best thing ever because the bonds generate ordinary income. See how it gets complicated? And it's like, what? You just said a lot of words. I know. Anyway, so that's what I'm saying. Like, there are ways to make mistakes that are so nuanced, you don't even know you're making a mistake. Like, you don't know what you don't know. That's the danger of investing. It seems so simple. And what I tell people is like, it's not something you learn by doing. Okay. This isn't like, oh, if you're practicing tennis, the more you play tennis, the better you're going to get at it. That's not investing. You know, it's not something you practice and then you just get better at it. You have to actually take the time to educate yourself.
Yeah.
That's how it happens, you know?
Yeah.
But becoming an entrepreneur, a business owner, you have to get even savvier about this stuff because taxes are real, right? I just had to send a $4,000 check to the IRS.
Hello.
I just
love
went
those
online.
Estimated quarterly tax payments.
Hello, right? My CPA, Shannon, was like, hello, we need to start sending money to the IRS. And I was like, I've never had to do this before. I always wait until April. And she's like, no, you need to start doing that now.
Girl, that's a lesson I had to learn the hard way as an entrepreneur when I was doing my taxes and then getting a $10,000 tax bill in April and paying penalties because I was supposed to be paying this throughout the year. Don't be like me, y'all. Like, this is why we talk about this stuff, because we've done all the shit not to do.
Seriously, hire a CPA. Here's the thing about investing. Also investing, don't just invest in the stock market. Invest in your business and invest in your team, okay? Hire a CPA, outsource stuff. I just hired a virtual assistant. It is a game changer. Oh,
for real.
My God. Wow.
You have so much free time to actually think long-term strategy instead of getting bogged down in replying to emails and booking shit on a calendar.
Oh my God. It's just so important to invest and get your time back, because remember, this is all about getting our time back, right? We're trying to buy our time back with investing, and then you don't want to start going backwards, right? You're giving up all of your free time now just to work. It's that's not what we want. We want to enjoy our lives today and we want to enjoy it in the future. So absolutely, you have to find places to invest in your business and invest in yourself. And the fact that I'm doing the certified financial planner certification is a way that I get to do something on my own terms. I decided that I wanted to invest in myself on my own terms. I don't have to do this if I don't want to. If I didn't want to, I could just keep running my business the way I am. But I was like, no, I want to level up, right? And what a freeing decision to be able to do that, to be able to decide on my own that I can do it and that I can cash flow it. How incredible is that, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's see here. Let's just answer a few more questions. And I think we've been on for an hour, right?
I was expecting Instagram to kick us off at this point because it's too hot in here.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Oh, that's right. It kicks us off.
Right?
Okay. So, guys, we're just going to do one more question and then we're going to go because I want to be able to save the live.
Yeah.
What do you want to answer?
Let me see.
Please.
So somebody asked, what do y'all think of the Vanguard Total Stock Market Index Fund? Personally, I invest heavily in it because I read the book Simple Path to Wealth, and I recommend that y'all read it too. And that's all I'll say about that.
Yeah, I just have to say that that's the fund in my solo 401k.
Absolutely.
So that's the beauty of index funds, is it lets you automate your investing, right? You can't do that with ETFs. That's the downside of ETFs. When you have index funds, you can automate your investings all the way to the end. You can literally tell your broker, hey, when I transfer money into this account, buy these index funds.
Yep.
That's a plus.
Same way that you do with your savings account. Just auto invest.
Yep. But anyway, you guys, I hope that you got a lot of value out of tonight. I'm sorry if we didn't get to your question, but I promise you we're going to have a lot more time at the summit to answer these things. So make sure you come to the summit. And as far as me personally, I am going to be launching my Slay the Stock Market course very soon. So if you're not on my waiting list already, get on the wait list. The link is in my bio so that you know when I launch it. And that is the course that I'm teaching live now and that I've turned into a digital course, and I'm going to share it with all of you guys. You're also going to get me live once a week. I go live once a week in a private community where we get to do this. You get to ask me a bunch of questions as you take the course. So that's a unique offering that you're not going to see with a lot of other investing courses out there.
I love that.
Janice, anything else?
Thank you so much for this. I love hanging out with you, and I feel like we should do this on a regular basis because there's just so many questions coming in, and I think there's like there's so much value in seeing people like us talking about investing. So thank you guys for even being here. Like, you could be anywhere in the world and you're hanging out with us.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. You guys, like, we do this for you. You know, the community is everything. I am so blessed that people have been so supportive, because this is, you know, social media can be kind of harsh.
And
but
we're
you guys,
not anything without you. Like,
yeah,
you are the reason why we can even talk about this stuff and anybody cares.
100%. So I'm just happy to be here. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. And yeah, I hope to see you guys next time.
Yes. See you at the Side Hustle Summit. Get your tickets.
Bye, everyone.